Welcome to Marketing After Hours with JumpFly, where marketing meets creativity. All day, we're heads down in PPC, social media, Amazon, SEO, and more. After hours, we talk shop. Because when the day ends, the best conversations begin.
Welcome to Marketing After Hours with JumpFly, where we combine strategy and creativity after the workday's over. So today we're going to reveal some of the JumpFly uses of AI. It's a tool in our arsenal, but it does not replace who we are as a company. AI is everywhere in digital marketing, but JumpFly has many tools in our toolbox. So we balance AI with human expertise to deliver real results for our clients. I have two guests here with me from JumpFly. One is Jack, with 22-year PPC veteran with a mission to stay one step ahead of AI if he can. He's sharpening his skills with AI and on the pickleball court, since marketing and strategy are important with both. Welcome, Jack.
Thank you.
We also have our maestro of marketplace.
Nice.
Nick here has been with digital marketing since 2018, and he also uses this tool to balance the relationship in client success along with the way to improve performance. So today, let's toast. Here's to AI making us smarter and the human touch keeping it real, because the robots aren't taking over for us yet.
Yet.
It's getting there.
So I really appreciate you, Jack and Nick, stopping over, helping us work through some of what AI means on a day-to-day basis within your accounts and keeping that strategy front of mind so we can stay ahead of the curve. We work with campaigns for our clients all the time. So is there a way within the AI environment that you've incorporated those tools to help with your campaigns?
I mean, I work primarily in search marketing, so Google Ads, Microsoft Ads. We definitely use ChatGPT on a consistent basis now. It's a great blank page buster. It gives you great ad copy ideas, descriptions, long headlines, search themes. So it's a really great tool to help you focus where you need to focus quickly. So instead of staring at that blank page, it'll give you 50 ideas, and you still have to captain the ship, as we say. Like, you can't just give it to AI and let it run. You have to make that final command decision as to which pieces you're going to implement in your campaigns. So we use it as a great thought starter, as a great idea generator. It's almost like a co-worker to bounce ideas off. Yeah. And you just take the best parts and you just ignore the rest. So it's a great tool to use.
You mentioned ChatGPT, and obviously that's the one we start incorporating very quickly. Are there other tools you've found within that realm that also help with navigating what you absorb from ChatGPT, or do you just primarily focus on that?
There's similar tools like ChatGPT. I mean, there's Google Gemini, of course. There's Perplexity. There's Claude. There's Poe. There's other AI platforms that will help with textual things, headlines, ad copy. So it's not just ChatGPT, but they all do that similar textual creativity helper that they are. So, I mean, AI is prone to hallucinations, they call it,
Yep.
making up facts, which, again, in an analytical world, that's terrible. But in a creative space, it's fantastic. It's like, go ahead and hallucinate and come up with a different tangent for this ad copy that I might never have thought of. So sometimes it comes up with these ideas like, wow, that's really enticing. Like, that's a great
all we need is
our
our clients to say, here's an unlimited budget, go as crazy as you can.
Yeah, right.
And then use AI to try to figure out a way or an angle.
Yeah. So again, to me, AI's, I think a lot of people think it's this analytical tool. It is, but it's not really. It's a great creative partner.
Yeah, and
it really is.
It's all about, again, a tool. You know what I mean?
Correct.
There's so many different ways. And thinking about like Amazon and marketplaces, like, it's a game changer. Like, you can build out content. You can write content with ChatGPT in minutes for what would take you hours. So again, it's a tool that you utilize for how do you want to apply it. And then you also look at in the back end of marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart, whatever it may be, they're implementing AI through ads, through their algorithm, through They have different image generators built into Amazon at this point, which, it's the opportunities are endless, honestly. Like it's just how do you, and then you talk about analytical, you can get in, you can, run calculations in seconds that would take me, hours to run through all sorts of different analysis. So you kind of have to, you get out what you put in, but the more you feed it and the more you direct these tools, the more valuable the insights are overall.
It seems a very different environment, though. You're coming up with ads that need to stop somebody when they're not sure where they want to go. In your environment, they're looking at something particular. So how do you craft your prompts to give you more of what the Amazon platform requires rather than the general search results?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things we've really played around with is building out a prompt where it's almost plug and play. You say, hey, here's my product. Here's what I'm looking to, the story I'm trying to tell of my product. And Amazon's so, benefit focused. So telling that story through your content, creating that connection with the customer. I always say the emotional connection. If you can get people feeling some sort of emotion in relation to your product, that just strengthens the connection, builds that brand loyalty. So being able to, also take Amazon best practices, implement those through AI, and then AI is learning as you're putting more and more through the system. And it's just kind of dialing in on exactly that story you're looking to tell with your product. It's how does that title resonate? How do these bullet points, description, are these images all right? So just using what Amazon is giving us as guidelines and figuring out how a tool like ChatGPT can kind of structure that and build it out around the specific product we're looking at. And it's a game changer. Honestly, it's continually refining. And again, like you mentioned, it's a tool. It's not something we're leaning fully into, but it's also something that it's saving time. It's putting out great content. Why wouldn't we continue to use this for our clients? So
when it comes to content and saving time, both things I was going to ask you about anyway, if you're said the ideal number of ads is 10, is 20 better? Can you produce that much more? So then you can test against it more effectively to see, or does that, you still have to parse it down?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the magnitude of ads that, Google, you have a couple responsive ads, and I don't think you can even have more than 3. So
Okay.
It's like you can't just make 100 ads and throw them out there. But you can get, ultimately, you have an end game, right? With a Google responsive ad, 5 short headlines, 5 long headlines, 5 descriptions. You've got that 15 short headlines, 5 long headlines, 5 descriptions. So that's your end game of all those 25 slots you got to fill. So using AI just helps you get to that end game quicker and fill those slots quicker with ideas you probably wouldn't have thought of yourself, because sometimes you get in that stale rote, like, all right, save now, great deals on blah, blah, blah. So, but then AI will give it a twist. The other fun thing too with AI is you can create characters. So you could say, hey, my audience is a soccer mom with 3 kids. She's very busy. She's very hectic. I want to sell her soccer shoes for her kids. Help me design ad copy that reflects, her lifestyle that would attract her attention. So it's fun using AI also as these pretend people you're bumping your ad copy against. And that's
building on a persona.
You're building on a persona,
yeah.
and you could have 5 different personas, and all of a sudden you're getting this feedback for ad copy that, you might not have considered without these sort of fake people, reacting to your ad copy. So
Well, then let's flip the table. That, you knew who that was. You want to write ads directed to those people. What do you use with regards to AI to find out more about who those people are? So your client tells you what they're selling, who the ideal client is. Do you use AI to say, how are these people thinking? What have they done before? What kind of research involves the client side of, the client's ideal prospect side of being able to develop more effectively?
Again, AI tools keep evolving, right? So there's deep research tools, which 3 months ago, I don't think they existed. Yeah. So there are deep research tools. You could even put in a client's website, maybe a few competitors, maybe a few of the products, and this deep research tool, I think Google's got it, ChatGPT's got it. It will go to 26, 30, 40 sources out on the web, compile all this information, and give you this nice, concise bullet point report on what it considers, a target audience for that particular product. So,
or even competitor analysis.
Yeah.
And I was just, as you were speaking, I'm thinking back, remember when we initially started down this ChatGPT and it's like, oh, I can only reference information prior to April of 23 or whatever. And it's like,
I remember that.
what did we do when that was the case now? And that was not even, like that was probably what, a year and a half ago? If that. So it's like now we're getting real-time data around competitor analysis, around market analysis. What does my customer look like? I could go to ChatGPT and say, hey, here's my product. Here's a link to my D2C site. What is my ideal customer? Where am I going to be more likely to convert? And it defines all of that for me based off of all of the information that it's pulling in. So it's like thinking back of how do we not work in real time at one point is crazy. And think about in the future, like looking at predictive AI, future trends, trying to define those, it's going to be.
Like I said, they're not taking over yet, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. Although I did see one thing, one guy said, I don't know who it was, he said 2025 this year is the year that AI programming gets better than humans, and it will stay that way. Like once it crosses that threshold of it's a better programming than a human, it's not going to go backwards.
No.
And they're saying this is the year that happens. So.
It's becoming like all of these sci-fi movies we've seen are just like, it's so close to becoming a reality now. It's like, what's the next direction of all of this? Like we can't even predict, we're talking almost daily about this, and it's like, this new thing came out.
I mean, I get 2 or 3 AI newsletters about AI for e-commerce, just AI in business in general. It's literally 30 things a day are happening. I don't know how any one person can keep up.
Yeah, I mean, we're on a podcast here, and there's AI that is literally taking information and creating a podcast. Like, where does the future of that go? Like, we've been playing around with that a lot, too, and it's so interesting, not just for taking your content and making it into a more usable form for the everyday person, but also like if you have an article, nobody loves to read a 10-page article, put it into a podcast, you throw some headphones in and you're listening to all of the information. You're just able to absorb so much more in so many different ways. It's mind-blowing, honestly, how it's changing and how it's evolving.
Well, I know we're embracing it at JumpFly. We've had the AI committee for quite some time. But that's an advantage for us. We talk about saving time, getting new ideas. How does that relate to the customers that we have? How do we help the customers understand our utilization of it and what the advantage is to them?
Well, I mean, there's one specific customer. There's Sora and Runway ML and Kling. There's all these AI video generating tools. So he actually took a product from his website. It was a little fish in an aquarium, and he actually gave it movement and life for his video. So he literally used AI from a static image to create motion and a cute little fish video with some captions on it. And we're actually using that as an ad in his campaign. So that was, without AI, that would not have existed at all.
And then you look at the social aspect of like TikTok videos and going live for a product. What's AI and what's not? Like now the video generators are so good that it's like, I don't even need, I have a handful of clients who, you have things like Amazon Live where you can go live and you can sell your product on Amazon, tell the story. But number of clients are like, hey, I don't have a person to do that, or I'm not comfortable on camera. AI comes in and fills that gap immediately. And it's like, we watched a handful of social ads that were created with AI. And I'm like, I would have no clue.
Yeah, you can't tell that was not a real person.
And it used to be, there's some key factor. You get into like text or face, and it used to be the fingers thing and there still is some of that, but like
or the
now
smoothness. It takes off 40 years.
It's like, when do we get to the point where everything's AI? Like we're eliminating a portion of that video generation by implementing AI. And I think that's the biggest value for clients. We have clients who are a 2-person team, and they're like, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to generate new images. And talk about Amazon, images are so important that if we can say, hey, you pay $50 a month for this tool, test it out with some different options. And if you get 10 images, it's worth it for them because they're looking at going to a videographer or photographer and paying thousands of dollars, and AI can do the same thing at this point. So why wouldn't you explore those options?
I was going to introduce a task and give you guys some articles and some images to see if you could determine the difference between what's AI generated or not. And I thought, because we do know it's evolving. So today you might be able to figure it out, but tomorrow you may not. So what is important, I think, is how we're embracing it as a company, how we're incorporating it into what we do, and how it has an impact on the actual performance of the accounts.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a whole team. We have an AI committee, and literally all we do is chat back and forth on, hey, look at this. Hey, did you see this? Hey, we should try this. So, I mean, that's just something we literally do every day. So, because there's something, again, new every day. And sometimes it'll be good for Nick and the marketplace crew. Sometimes it's good for, Stephanie and her social team. Sometimes it's good for Google Ads. But yeah, it's just we definitely have our nose to the grindstone on all the AI, simply because I think both of us can agree we're fascinated by it. We find it very interesting. So not only is it good for our job, but it's just an interesting topic and subject and just environment that's happening.
I forget, I think it was you or maybe Alyssa who said it, and the big thing for me that stuck with me is trust but verify. Because, there are agencies out there, people out there who say, why don't I just plug it into AI and let it run? Like, I don't have to touch it ever again. That's not the case. You're always going to need some level of human intervention. And I think that's where, I have conversations all the time with people coming to us looking for services. It's like, are you just going to plug it in and let it run? How are you going to use AI? What's the implementation there? And it's like, how do we, set the parameters where the better results you get is based on how much you feed the system. So, understanding, and it gets down to even like automated bidding. You can look at like setting your max ROAS or your max ACoS, looking at what's your unit conversion rate, what's your average order value. And the more of those parameters that you set, the better your campaigns are going to perform. So we use outside tools for that, for the marketplace Amazon side of things. But I know Google's got a lot of that baked in already.
Baked in, yeah.
So it's like
smart bidding.
I'm just waiting for that to roll out to Amazon. They have their algorithm that I'm sure is fed by majority AI at this point. But like, how are we going to implement that into ads, almost like a performance max for Amazon? I think it's just interesting because now we're setting the parameters and we're controlling that. But once you let AI kind of take over, you're just pulling a little bit less and less of that human intervention, where I think is, I have hesitations around that for sure, because you want to see the best possible performance. So making sure you really trust but verify, you get out what you put in, essentially.
I mean, I think Hollywood itself has the same issue, right? Because pretty soon you can be making TV shows, movies, the three of us in a basement are making a blockbuster. But the key is content is king. So if the story stinks, it doesn't matter how expensive or how cheap it is. Same with, your images on your products and your ad copy. It's the content that is going to be the compelling component, not necessarily the minutia of a bid adjustment. It's going to be, and I think that's where AI is going to help give you tons of choices, whereas 2 years ago, you have to hire a graphic designer to give you 10 options and it's cost you X thousands. Now, you literally can get thousands of ideas in 15 minutes with these AI tools. And again, command the ship, commandeer the ship. You have to captain the ship.
Yep.
You can't just let it go. So I think that's where we're trying to be is, these captains of the industry where, hey, we know there's a lot of these AI tools, but you got to guide this thing. It's got to be steered here. It can't just go veering off in this direction. So
we also talk about, a videographer or a photographer putting together, building a brand, essentially. You're looking for this brand image you're trying to put out. You've got it clearly defined and you have this image in your head, but then you bring an outside videographer or photographer and it's like, okay, they take their shot at it, send it over to you, you take the time review, and then you get back together and you say, hey, here's my feedback. With AI, real-time feedback.
Yes.
It's, you get one response back and you say, hey, can you change this, that? And then all of a sudden you get another response. And it's just that constant, rinse and repeat feedback that you're able to get, that in real time, things that would take you weeks or even months at that point.
And the financial investment. I mean, seriously, they shoot something and they think it's phenomenal, or they did what they thought you wanted and you get it and it doesn't end up being what you had. You got to start over. And that's time and money. This is a much faster execution.
It actually tightens the control and lessens the time. So if you're the creator and owner of a product, like, you actually can do more for yourself with these tools.
And I think people also are still learning the idea of going back and forth with a chatbot, essentially. Like, it's, if you just tell it, hey, generate me an image of an iced tea, you're going to get what you ask for, But if you tell it, generate me an image of iced tea on a nice hot day in a backyard, sitting on a patio with people enjoying themselves, then you're really just redefining, and it's all about what you put in. And I think that's been a big learning curve for JumpFly, is telling people the opportunity is endless. Yeah. It's just all about, continually refining this process and getting there. So
we use it in difficult situations as well. So if a client might send a snarky email and you want to respond, you want to be professional, so you write a not snarky email, it doesn't really come out right. So then you write the snarky email and you stick it into ChatGPT. I need to make sure that the message is clear, but the tone is professional and courteous.
Yep.
And that's a very simple, short version of it, but at least it can take that main thought and personalize it the way you need that tone to be. And I think you said talking to chat. I mean, I act as if it's really responding to me. That scares me a little.
Oh, yeah.
But it leads me to the last thing. So the big question is, will AI ever replace a human strategy?
There's no way. You have to command the ship. You have to be the captain of the ship. You can't. It just can't auto steer. Because what if it goes off course? And it needs to be steered. I think in every field, everywhere that AI gets put, it can't just run by itself.
And you talk about things like almost like sentience, where AI is gaining emotions, and it's able to, and it can, to an extent, you can convey that emotion and let AI run with it. But I think that's where the real value comes in, from having a person behind it who can adapt in real time and think outside of the box, provide those, emotional connections, those sort of things where, creativity is always going to be a thing. Yeah. Could you make a masterpiece of art with AI? For sure. But, the creative aspect and the human intervention, it's kind of a synergy of the two. I don't think there will ever be a point where you can just AI take over, let it ride. I think it's going to be always that intervention, and you're going to continue to see better results the more we are intervening, the more we are feeding to the system, I think.
Well, I greatly appreciate your time today. I think we've touched on a topic, but it's only the tip of the iceberg. I think it's kind of scary to say, well, where is it going? And probably further than any of us could possibly imagine.
Yeah, it's
further and faster.
Can't keep up.
Again, the funny thing people look at is the Will Smith eating spaghetti video. If you've ever seen this, I mean, if you just Google that and look at the Will Smith eating spaghetti progression from where it was a year and a half to where it is now, it's mind-boggling how much better it is compared to where it was. Right? And it's just and it's only got a little bit to go before it's so fine-tuned that you just can't tell.
Yep.
You just won't be able to tell.
Well, it's scary and exciting at the same time, and I greatly appreciate your time today touching on this subject. We want to encourage people to reach out if they have any questions. Let JumpFly know. Follow us, like us, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next After Hours. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.